Hi everyone, it's Michelle here from FireFit, and today we're going to be doing some abstract drawing. I'll just wait for a few minutes to see if more people will come on, and then I'll give a run through of what materials and equipment you need and a bit more information about what we'll be doing, but I'll just give it a few minutes. We'll be starting in another minute. We'll just wait for a few more people to get on, and then I'll give you a run through of what equipment we'll need and what type of activities we'll be doing. So we'll start now. I'll give you a run through of what equipment you'll need, and then I'll give you a few minutes to go and collect some objects, and then we'll start. So first we'll need a range of pens and pencils. I've just got a random selection of felt tips, a few highlighters, a chunky pencil graphite stick, and some sketching pencils, and a pen or a ballpoint pen, and an elastic band. For the pens and pencils, it doesn't need to be exactly this that you go and get. You can just get a few pens or a few pencils, but a random assortment would be nice. So if you can find some highlighters or crayons, and just a range of different things that you can create a few different textures with. So it doesn't have to be exactly that, but if you've only got pens or pencils at home, you can use them as well. If you have an elastic band or a hair bobble, that would be useful as well. And an eraser, you'll need that. You'll need some paper or card, any colour really. As it's an abstract drawing class, it doesn't really matter what colour, but I've just got white here. And you'll also need a few random objects from the house. So I've just gone through the FireFit store cupboard, and I've got just 3 random objects. It can be 1 if you want to, but it can be up to about 4. I've just got some paper towel roll, just a random spray bottle, and a volleyball that I found. So it doesn't need to be objects like this. You can literally get anything from the house, whether it's a fairy liquid bottle or a football that you've got, just literally any 3 random objects that you can find. If you can't find 3, just get as many as you want. You can just get 1 object, but I've started with 3. So we'll give you a few minutes to go and get your pens, get your paper, and up to 3 random objects that you can find in the house. So we'll just give a few minutes just to make sure everyone's set up at home. And we'll start the activity in about a minute. If you've also got a phone or a watch on you, we will be setting a timer, but I'll be setting it on my phone as well, so that should come up. But if you're doing this away from the video or you want to try after you've watched this, you'll need a timer as well. So the first activity we'll do will only need a pen for it or a pencil, but just a standard pen or pencil. And this activity is going to last 2 minutes, so not very long. And we'll be doing it a few times just so you get the hang of it. And it's called continuous line. So with the object set up in front of you, you're going to copy, you're going to do an interpretation, like copy the objects that are in front of you, but without taking the pen off the paper. So it might look really messy and crazy, but that's the whole point. We're going to be making an abstract drawing using the pen on the paper, but you're not going to lift the pen off the paper. So I'll set my timer for 2 minutes. We'll do the first one. I'll do the first one in pen. And I'll start the timer in 3, 2, 1. I'm drawing the volleyball now without taking the pen off the paper. And you'll be really tempted to lift the pen up, especially when you're moving on to a different section of your drawing and there's nothing there, but you're just going to have to work around it. And it's not going to look very realistic, but that's the whole point. I'm moving on from the volleyball to the next object, which is really difficult because they're not connected. So I'm just going to try my best. So make sure you're not taking the pen off the paper, and there's a timer. It's a bit of a mess, but it was quite fun. And we're going to do it again, but with a different type of pen. So, new piece of paper. And we're going to do the same thing. So, do the drawing without taking the pen off the paper, but use something different. So, I'm going to use the highlighter. You wouldn't normally use highlighters for drawing like this, but it just, if we're doing abstract, it can look quite nice. So I'll set the timer again. 3, 2, 1. And you've got to be quite fast as we've only got 2 minutes. Oh, just took my pen off, that's cheating. If it does come off, just put it back to where you were drawing. This is a good way to be free with your drawing and not really care about being too precious over it or taking too much time. And it does look really messy, but it's fun and abstract. Some people like drawing like this more than the normal way. Again, it looks really messy, but it was a fun way just to loosen up and try a new way of drawing. For the second task, it's another crazy task that will get us a bit more free with our drawing and not really care about the outcome and make something abstract. And we're going to be using the hand that we don't normally draw or write with. So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to be using my left hand to try and draw some of the objects. So if you put the pen in the hand that you don't normally draw with, and you can use pen or pencil. I think I'll use pen for this again because it stands out more on camera. And we're gonna have 2 minutes again to do this. So I'll set the timer for 2 minutes, not very long, so don't be too slow and take your time just on one little bit. Just try and get the whole thing done with the hand that you don't normally draw with. So 3, 2, 1. It feels really unnatural to be using this hand. This time you can take the pen off the paper if you want to. If anyone's just started watching now, I'm using my left hand to draw with, and I'm right-handed, so it wouldn't normally look this bad. It's just an abstract activity just to get more free with drawing and not worrying about how it turns out. And it's quite fun as well and relaxing. We've only got 2 minutes. So that was my attempt at drawing with the hand that I don't normally draw with. It looks like a kid has done that, but it was fun. The next activity is, again, another unusual way of drawing. They're all going to be quite unusual, really, but I think this is probably the hardest one. I'm going to use a pencil. If you're doing this at home, maybe put some newspaper or something down because it can get a little bit messy. You're going to look at the objects. I'll give you 30 seconds to look at the objects, and then you're going to close your eyes and try and draw them with your eyes closed. So I'll set my timer for 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And during this time, just try and memorize the objects, where they are, and memorize where the paper is. And once this 30 seconds is up, we're going to be drawing the objects with your eyes closed. Okay? So I'm trying to remember where all my objects are. And we only have 2 minutes to draw them as well, so it's even more difficult. So 30 seconds over. I'll set the timer to 2 minutes. It will be helpful to put the pencil or pen on the paper so you know where the paper is. And make sure there's something down in case it goes somewhere. So 3, 2, 1. My eyes are closed now. I'm trying not to open them at all. So I'm drawing the volleyball with my eyes closed. And I'm trying to remember how it looks. If anyone's just signed into the video now and is watching me do this, I'll look crazy, but I'm drawing with my eyes closed. It's quite easy. Well, it's not easy. It makes it a little bit less difficult to do continuous line like we did at first. So you kind of know which direction you're going in. So if you're doing this along at home, don't be cheating and opening your eyes. I'm not cheating, I've not opened my eyes once. I think I'm finished. I'll give everyone at home 30 more seconds on the timer. I've finished mine, and it actually doesn't look too bad considering. Well, it does, it looks awful, but everything's in the right place at least. So if you're at home, carry on, keep your eyes shut, and we've got 5 seconds left. So that was my drawing with my eyes closed. That one was quite fun. We're going to move on to a new activity. And for this one, it's going to last 3 minutes, as you can take a bit more time on this. And you'll need your elastic band for this one. And you're going to choose 2 pens or, you're going to choose 2 pens or 2 pencils, whatever you've brought. And if you can have 2 different ones, that would probably look the best. So I'll take this pen and just my normal pen and take the lids off. And what I'm going to do is tie them together with the elastic band. And I'll do a little practice to make sure they're both in line. Actually, I'll use a different pen because they don't look too different. So I'll use the highlighter and the felt tip. That didn't work very well. Tie them quite tight so they don't fall when we're drawing, and then just practice that they're both in line and then turn over. So we've got 3 minutes and you should have 2 different pens tied together. And this is going to be the last activity before we start drawing with more normal methods. So these few activities was just to loosen everyone up and have a bit of fun. So we've got 3 minutes to draw the objects, but using the pens that are stuck together. So 3, 2, 1, the time has started. This is really confusing. So we've got a little bit longer on this one. 3 minutes. It's still not that long, so don't be taking too much time trying to get it perfect. got a bit more time to go into like shadows and draw in details that you didn't really have a chance to draw on the other tasks because they were really quick. Ten seconds left. I think I'm finished. I really enjoyed that one. So that was quite confusing, but I quite like how it's turned out. Again, nothing special, anyone can do it, but it's just a different way to draw. And if you're at home and you liked how that one worked, you can do it for longer and take more time. But those little activities were just warm-ups really to show different ways of how you can make abstract drawings. So we don't need to worry about them being perfect or anything like that. And now what we're going to do is going to try some still life in more traditional way, but we are going to use different materials, so still a bit of an abstract element. So arrange the objects again in front of you. You can keep them how you've been using them or change the setup. I'm just going to leave them as I quite like how it's arranged. And we're going to use one type of pen or one tool that you've got, and we're going to draw. We're going to do 30 seconds at first, so I'll just use a pencil and I'll set the timer, so just use one thing that you've got, one item, and we're going to try and draw as fast as we can in 30 seconds and try to get the whole thing done. So 3, 2, 1. Not long for this, so just try and get the key details in and like the key shapes. Don't worry about any of the more intricate details, just try and get as many shapes as you can. I'm going to turn over and use the same page. And this time we have 1 minute to draw. So you just had 30 seconds. And now we've got 1 minute. 3, 2, 1. So it's not much longer, but you'll be able to add a few extra details. This is just a warm up again before we go into it a bit more. And this is just a way to get used to your objects before you do a longer study of them. So all these activities that we've done have prepared us to do a longer drawing. So the next drawing we're going to do is 5 minutes, and it's of the same object, so we should be used to them now. And we're going to add quite a bit more detail because we have 5 minutes. So we'll use 2 different tools that we've got. I'll use a pen and a felt tip. I will go over it first in pencil really quick. So if you've got your 2 drawing tools, and then if you want to go over it in pencil really quick, just to map it all out, you can do that. But we have 5 minutes, and I'll start the timer now. So I'm just lightly mapping out in pencil before I go over and draw in pen. Still 5 minutes isn't very long, so it will be quite a quick sketch. It won't be a real serious drawing that looks identical to the object. You can use your rubber as well. I've got about 3 minutes left. So I'm going to go in with my first pen. And this one should look a lot more realistic than the other drawings that we've been doing. We've got just over 1 minute 30 left, so I'm going to try and get a few more details in. And try to use both of the materials. 10 seconds. For the final one, we're going to do 10 minutes. And you can use as many as you want to. So I'll probably use about 4 for this one. Actually, we've got a little bit longer, so we can do 12 minutes. And I'll give you a little break because we've been doing a lot of drawing, so you can use as many materials as you want to for this one. And it's 12 minutes doing the same still life. You can change it up and like rearrange it if you want to, if you're a bit bored of drawing the same thing, but I'll just stick to mine because I'm really familiar with it now through all the activities that we've done. And I'll be adding a lot of different detail to this one, and I've got all different materials, so this one's up to you really how you want to do it and which materials and pens you want to use. Just have a little break before we start and make sure you've got everything you need. And I'll set up the timer. So we'll start in about a minute. I've just been drawing the volleyball, really. I should focus on the other objects as well. But we've got 12 minutes this time, so if you've been doing the same at home, you'll probably get everything done. So I'll set my timer now for 12 minutes. 3, 2, 1. And I'll do the same that I did before. I'll map it out first. And you can use all the different colours and pens that you've got this time. It's a good way sometimes to limit yourself and just use a few just to get started. And this is quite a long time to be drawing, so spend a lot of the time looking at the objects just to make sure. I know we've been looking at them a lot. Got 8 minutes left. So we've got 3 more minutes left. Got just under 30 seconds left. So stop your drawing, and that's the last activity that we'll be doing. If you've tried this at home, please send your photos of the work you've done into FireFit on the Instagram, because we'd love to see them. And I hope you've enjoyed this abstract still life drawing class. I hope it's been fun, and I hope you've got some outcomes that you never would have usually drawn before. So yeah, thank you. See you at the same time on Friday.